What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show. We are back after UFC 312. A lot of different things happened. We saw Topuria's brother come away with a great victory. A lot of people are very impressed with that. Unfortunately, India's own Anshul Jubli got knocked out early, which pretty much everybody is calling a pretty bad stoppage. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Justin, if you did see that knockout. But anyways, Justin, tell us a little bit about your weekend because I know you're doing some commentating. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I got the call. I got to work with Shane Sparks. If you guys aren't familiar with who Shane Sparks is, he's the head commentator for the Big Ten Network. He does ESPN stuff. For whatever reason, they asked me to come in and co-host with him. Had a great time. Went to go watch and commentate the Little Rock Trojans, ranked number 16 in the nation, face off against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, ranked second in the nation. Got to see some of the best wrestlers in the world do their thing, man. And you know, it's crazy as I'm sitting there watching. I've been wrestling for 25 years, and even at my prime, even at my peak, I was no level. I was not anywhere close to where these guys are at. So, you know, got to talk to, you know, Neil Erstman after who's been running the Trojans for 7 years. You got David Taylor, and these names, if you don't know wrestling, don't know anything to you. But if you know anything about wrestling, you understand how big David Taylor is. You know, former NCAA champ, first year at Oklahoma State. Got to go there and do my thing, man. And you know, right now things are looking really, really good for Justin James and the 10-7 going forward right now. Like I said, really quick trip, head out Friday early morning, got back Saturday night, all in a day, baby, just picking up these reps, picking up these paychecks and loving life. So I didn't get to watch the early prelim on the show, but I got to watch the main and the co-main while I was at the airport.
All right, no worries. We're going to focus on that stuff. By the way, Tehran says, what's up, boys? By the way, Justin, so you said that these guys are at like a totally different level than when you were wrestling in college. Is that because it's a different division, or is that because wrestling has evolved that much since you were in college?
I'm not going to say it's evolved that much. I mean, obviously, sports are constantly evolving. You know, people are getting bigger, faster, stronger at their weight classes. You look at the NFL, for instance. You know, if you happen to watch the Super Bowl last night, the average player on the Eagles' defensive line was like 6'6", 330 pounds. Now you look 30 years ago, and I think the average player on a defensive line was like 6'2", 250 pounds. So the evolution of the sport, and all sports are constantly gaining, but it's just, you know, you take these super athletes, let's say guys that are because to me, the NFL has the most athletic athletes in the whole world. Now you take someone with athletic NFL athleticism, but he's only, I don't know, 150 pounds. Unfortunately, at 150 pounds, no matter what, or I don't know, maybe 1 in a million shot that they can make it to the NFL or make it to the NBA just because of their size. So they transition to something like wrestling. And when you take hard work and athleticism and you put it at the top level, these guys are just another animal, man. And it was just so impressive to watch. And just again, watching these guys, these are the best guys in the world. I get to watch, I get to commentate next to, you know, incredible people like you, like John Morgan from MMA Junkie, Shane Sparks from Big Ten, you know, and I'm just stressing these guys. Like, I know we have fun doing this, and but this isn't my hobby. This is what I want to do with my job. And, you know, as of right now, I think I'm in the right direction.
Heck yeah. I think we're all in the right direction.
You know, I actually had a really awesome comment last night from this guy. I don't know who he was, but he's a big fan in the wrestling world. He no clue who he is. Don't even know his name. His name is something like the MMA handler, or excuse me, the wrestling handler on X. And he says, he quoted, he's like, I love hearing Justin James in the commentary booth. I hope he becomes a staple in NCAA wrestling. And this is not a friend of mine. This is not an acquaintance of mine. John Morgan made the joke. He's like, how do I know this isn't your burner account, you know, commenting these things? Because he posted it publicly. And just to see that was because, you know, when you're going up, you know, when you work with someone like John Morgan, you know, who's a legend in MMA, you hear him on every interview with Dana White. You work with someone like Shane Sparks, who is consistently working for the Big Ten, working for the ESPN network. And then, you know, like the whole time I'm there, I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing a good job. Like, I fumble my words sometimes. I mispronounce. Sometimes I misspeak. Sometimes I speak over. Like, so I feel kind of like when you and I are working together, not saying that I'm superior to you by any means, but after we talk, you're always like, man, I think I could have done better. That's how I feel. You know, sitting next to these guys. Not saying you feel that way sitting next to me, but just as a perfectionist that you are. and then to see some criticism like this of the guys like, man, I hope Justin James becomes a staple in MMA or in wrestling commentary, Division I wrestling commentary, which is the best of the best. Was, man, it gave me butterflies, and it tells me that I'm on the right direction. I mean, I'm on the right track in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. I think the same thing is true of commentators and broadcasters and content creators as is true of the fighters. The age we are in now is we want to see authentic people. We want to see people being themselves, and I think that's the simple formula for you. It's like you have enthusiasm, you make it exciting, you have a deep knowledge base, but you're just yourself. You're not putting on an act, and I think that's what resonates with a lot of people. I noticed that from the get-go, and I think one of the cool things about our YouTube channel, I hope people can feel that as well, that we're just being ourselves, we're having fun, and we're having a blast, and hopefully that creates interesting, good content as well. I think that is the heart of the formula, and then on top of that, you just got to work super hard, but that's it. So it's really fun that you're finding your own in all these different avenues that are really catered to your natural skill sets, your intrinsic abilities, and that's what life's all about. And I think, and I'm obviously having a blast here. So let's, without further ado, let's get into some of these topics. Tehran says 313. I think you mean 312, but you said 313 or 312, whatever, was mediocre. We're gonna talk about this, and I want to start though. We got to start with the main event because me and Justin have a little bit of differing opinions. And if you guys saw the video that I released Saturday night, I made a video right after the fight. I actually really enjoyed the main event. And there's a clip here that I'm going to show you, Justin. I don't know if you saw it. It's so cool. It's so cool. And I'm going to reference a movie that it reminds me of when I show it to you. I'm sure you've seen the movie. I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's a classic. But anyways, I really enjoyed the main event. I was so impressed by DDP. I even made the statement on the video that you might laugh at this, and it maybe was a dumb thing to say. He kind of reminded me a little bit of John Jones in that I don't know many other guys that have such a diversity. I know you're laughing. I don't see a lot of guys have that diversity of strikes, spinning back fists, spinning elbows, spinning heel kicks, a really powerful teeps, body kicks, calf kicks, just all over the place. It was like you didn't know. I'm sure Sean Strickland didn't know what to expect, where things were coming from. And then a couple takedowns peppered in. I was very impressed. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fascinating. And then the broken nose and how Sean recovered from that and stayed in the fight. All of it to me was impressive. But let's hear your side because I know you disagree with me.
Oh no, I don't disagree with you. Man, DDP is. I mean, at the end of the day, I was blown away, man. I really thought Sean, was going to turn a corner on this. I really thought that he was going to really step on the gas here and take it to DDP. But man, I couldn't have been more wrong. I turned the fight off after the fourth round. I was sick of watching it. I was bummed out for Sean, man. And I was really hype about him. When you see someone like Sean train daily and you see the work that he puts in and how, like, it's hard to root against, regardless how you believe, if you don't like his political agenda or his political beliefs, or that doesn't matter to me when it comes to MMA, at least when we're watching the fight. And, when you see someone work as hard as he does, I wanted to see him be successful. I wanted to see him get that belt back, but man, hats off to DDP, really stepping on the gas the whole fight, never letting Sean, take a step back and breathe. I was disappointed, man. I was bummed out. That's why I turned it off. I was like, after the fourth round, I thought I've seen enough. Like, this is, I felt stupid with my prediction. I was really confident, man. I lost a ton of money, again, betting on my teammates, just looking for reasons to why they should win and can win. And whether it was Tatiana, I was very disappointed. And again, when I say disappointed, I don't mean like I'm mad at him. Like,
Yeah.
I just was bummed out for him, man. It's like, I know how hard Tatiana works. I know how hard Sean Strickland works, and just to go see them both go in there back to back and get worked over was just disgusting to me. And I felt really bad for him, and it was kind of emotional. Like, I'm not as close to. And again, when I talk about my teammates, I don't go to dinner with Sean. We don't hang out outside the gym, but I see these guys every day. So, when I talk about the personal relationship, I see Tatiana every day. It's like, man, I get to see him from afar. Me and Patchy are her boyfriend / fiance. I don't know if they're getting engaged, but Patchy Mix, man, like, such a cool dude. Has helped me in so many ways. Has one of the best guillotines in the room. He's showed me how he does it. Like, We've done a lot of work together. We've had a lot of mat time together. So, I feel that personal bond that I have with Patchy kind of rolls over to, anybody that he's involved with, I care about. And to see Tatiana get worked over the way she did after being, 11-0, 12-0 going into that matchup, and she was a minus 155 favorite. And then you look at Sean Strickland at a plus 185 dog. I really thought he was going to turn around and the co-main and main event were just so disappointing to me. It was very depressing.
Okay, let me before we get into some more details, and there's some other things I want to ask you about. Let me show you something that might brighten your day, because this clip, man, this is, I don't know, this to me is what it's all about. Okay, Justin, have you ever seen Pineapple Express? Justin, have you seen Pineapple Express? Can you hear me?
I lose you? I lose your voice?
Can you hear? I don't know. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? I think we lost him. Justin, can you hear me? All right. Can you jump back on? Jump off and jump back on? All right. I think he's gonna jump off. You can't hear
you.
Jump off and jump back on. Here, I'm gonna remove you. Here, hold on. Let's see here. So wait, oops. So I'm gonna tell him, hold on, I'm gonna text him to rejoin. All right. Well, let me play this clip for you guys. Give me 1 second. Here, I think he's rejoining. Sorry about this, guys. Let me read a couple comments while we wait. So yeah, Tron says I meant 312. The one who says the main event was good, but I feel like the co-main was more entertaining. The co-main was awesome. I don't know. I know a lot of people were booing during the main event. I like the main event better. Now, I could be jaded by the fact that I was more eager to see the main event, but I enjoyed the main event more than the co-main, but I know most people did find the co-main to just blow them away. I really enjoyed the main event. Western says, dang, I'm late. And Lane says, what's up, boys? So what's up, everybody? Justin, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, for whatever reason, yeah, your
have
mic
you,
just
have
cut
you,
out for a second. It might have been me.
No worries. Have you seen Pineapple Express?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the movie that this reminds me of. Pineapple Express. My favorite scene in Pineapple Express is the last scene where after they go through the police chase, they go through everything, and they have this like crazy adventure, and then three of them are sitting at a diner after all this is unfolded. They're all bloody, they're all beat up, they almost died, and then they're retelling what happened throughout the entire movie that we all get to see, and they're just laughing about it. It's hilarious. It's like, dude, you've been shot like 3 times. It's like, yeah, I don't know how I'm alive. And then the other guy's like, yeah, remember when we had that fight? That fight was so good, man. Man, you broke a bong over my head. That was crazy. Like, they're retelling it and laughing about it. It's so okay. This is that right here. Watch this. One of the most incredible moments caught on camera. This is them right after the fight. Justin, ready?
Yep, go.
Things like this, and you just went, and I went for like 2 minutes just trying. Yeah, dude, I broke it, and I was like, well, in the movies they just set it back. I saw you try, and I was like, wrong way, man. Wrong way. You went like this. No, I felt it. I said it, and the crazy thing is, you shot up and again, and dude, your nose just touched in. I saw him when the brother. Hey, dude, at the end of the day, man, we talk about shit, but you're a bad motherfucker. That's the movie. I gotta go to South Africa, man. I've actually been to a German once. I love it. Is that your woman? Hey, I don't want my bloody, but you got a bad motherfucker right there, man. I appreciate it. Toughest African I've ever met. Right here, really quick. Can I say you?
I mean, is that not incredible? Is that not incredible? The sign of respect after everything, just the telling of the stories that we just witnessed. He's like, dude, then you broke your nose and you tried to send. He's like, Sean's like, yeah, I see them reset your nose in the movie, so I tried to do what? That's crazy. I thought maybe that had happened to him before, and he had to do it before, so he knew what he was doing. He's like, I saw it in a movie, and I tried to do it. What? This is insane. That's the coolest moment. One of the coolest moments I've ever seen caught on camera. Is this something that happens a lot, or is this a rarity?
That's kind of what I was just going to say. Like, believe it or not, this is very common, because a lot of times that after you fight, you go in the back and you have to go to the doctor. Even when I fought Chris Padilla,
Yeah.
When you,
I was there.
You were there, and you're in the back room. You and your opponent are essentially sitting next to each other. And it's always, hey, man, good fight, whatever. Like, I've had some incredible moments, and they're not always caught on camera. And you know what? Like, I personally, I mean, it's great watching. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing it. I love the camaraderie. I love the respect. Like, I'm big on respect in the sport. I love trash talk, but at the end of the day, we do respect each other. But personally, again, as much as I love to see this, I think these moments are so personal. I like to share these moments with my opponent, share these moments with my family, but I don't like to share them publicly, man, because again, this is a sentimental piece to me that I want to have with my opponent. And actually, I don't really care if it gets shared, but it's a really emotional piece for me. It's like you go out there and you trash talk, and now you're literally essentially trying to kill each other, and for 15 minutes or 25 minutes, and then after the fight, it's like, all right, all the animosity's gone. And I remember even Carl Deaton, who I still don't care for personally, after we were getting our stuff, and I didn't really want to talk to him because our whole build up, but he's like, hey man, can we go elk hunting now? And I was like, no, I'm good, bro. But it's just, it's just one of those things, man. I think it's awesome. I love seeing it. And that's how Sean is, man. Like he plays, and I've said this to his face many, many times. He plays this big villain on TV, and he plays like, oh, he's so, and he is. But at the end of the day, like when we talked about, when I did my MMA fight with the special needs, Brian Chappell, and Sean came out publicly and he's like, I would knock that motherfucker out. I saw Sean in the gym a couple days after that. I'm like, bro, really? He's like, oh, I can't believe you let that guy do that. I'm like, so you're saying you're going to say that you would have went in here, and he just smiled and looked at me. I'm like, of course not, dude. You're not. Sean is a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong, but he's not as big as a piece of shit as he pretends to be. I think he's, he's not. I'm not going to say Colby Covington. He's not like that. He is representing himself, and he is saying things that he probably believes to some degree. But I don't think he's this big heartless idiot that everyone seems to make him out to be. I think I'd even say this to him, like, hey, I don't, you know what, Sean, like, I know deep down you have a heart somewhere. And every time I've said that to him, he's kind of smiled and just walked away. So, when you see moments like this, it gives to show his true colors. And Sean's a lot better guy than he gets credit for.
Even Izzy said something along those lines, that he said behind the scenes, Sean's actually a really sweet guy. He sent me really nice and kind messages, but then it's a very different thing what he portrays to the media. Okay, one last thing I want to ask you. I heard this on Ariel Helwani's show today, and it bothered me. Now, look, again, I'm not a professional fighter, but I can at least just use my brain and understand when I see stupidity, in my opinion. And I felt like I saw stupidity from Ariel. So this is what he said, and I just want to get your thoughts. He's like, yeah, well, Sean talks all the smack and whatever, but then when he's out there and he's fighting, he doesn't go for it. He doesn't really go for it. And you can't talk all that smack and just be defensive and not go for it. It's basically what he said. I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, what you're saying is, you're saying that because he talks all this smack, essentially you're saying he has to change his style and now fight aggressively when his style is normally fighting defensively. So I just thought that statement made no sense. I hear people saying similar things like this, but Justin, what is your take when people say stuff like that? Because to me, I'm like, that's a stylistic choice. He fights he's known as one of the best defensive strikers in the game, and that's his style. So what he talks a lot of smack, that he has to change his style completely to where he's going to lose. Like, I don't understand this.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Can you imagine Sean Strickland getting ready for a fight and be like, all right, guys, I'm going to play defensive. I'm going to sit behind my jab. I'm going to sit behind my teep kicks. He's selling the fight, guys. And that, dude, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Like, he has to sell a fight. He can't talk about, fighting defensively. He can't talk about hiding behind his jab. Who wants to watch that? He has to sell the fight. Now, when you get in the cage, a lot of things change, man. Like, your thoughts change, your emotions change, physically you change. Are you tired? Are you not tired? There's just so many variables that are out of the realm of control at that point once you're in the cage. I don't think Sean is, dude. I mean, Sean will get in there and he'll strike with the best of them. When he fought Alex Pereira, man, like, you're talking about the best striker in all the division, arguably one of the best strikers ever to be in the UFC. And Sean didn't wrestle, didn't try to do anything of his game plan. He stuck to what Sean Strickland does and what he does best, and unfortunately didn't work out for him. And in this case, it didn't work out for him too, but Sean's not going to try to sell wolf tickets when it comes to a fight. Sean is going to, Sean is going to try to sell the fight, whether that's to his style credit or not. He has to sell the fight, and that's his job.
Yeah, fair enough. And anyways, like I said, that's the style that has worked for him for a long time. So anyways, I just thought it was a bizarre statement. And by the way, the one who Vape says, hey, 10-7 better than Helwani, let's go. But the thing is, it's like, it just seemed like such a bizarre statement to make, that, oh yeah, if you're going to say that, then you have to fight aggressively. That's not his style. You have to follow the style and the training and the protocol. You're not just going to go out and bang because of things you said ahead of time that didn't make any sense. Okay, let's move on to the co-main, because Justin, Tatiana. I think she is. I don't know if she's officially at Extreme Couture, but I even heard.
She is.
She is. Okay. I heard Sean Strickland talking a lot about her, saying that he felt she was going to win. Everybody was thinking she was going to be the new Habib with the wrestling credentials. She was coming in with a lot of hype as a favorite against Weili, which was pretty crazy. And it just didn't go that way. So first and foremost, this is going to be a really interesting conversation because you know Tatiana. What do you think happened? I mean, do you think that just Weili Zhang is actually, after all things are said and done, she is the better fighter, or do you feel like something went wrong with Tatiana in that fight? Because I thought Tatiana did great first round. I think she won the first round too on most of the judges' scorecards. Yeah. So what do you think happened?
I think she got in there, realized that Weili was a lot better than she thought. I think that she exhausted herself in the first round, getting that takedown. She secured the takedown. Like, all right, well, she has to do this for 4 more rounds. And, the shots that she was taking after that first round did not look good. They looked they weren't technically sound. She looked tired, slow, wasn't setting up. She was diving in. Personally, I think that she exhausted herself in that first period trying to take her down and hold her down. Although I thought she
I think we lost Justin again. Oh, there we go. We lost you. Okay. I can't hear your audio now. Oh, wait. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I pressed my Siri popped up.
It's all right.
Anyways, Tatiana, I thought she exhausted herself in the first round, and just she couldn't put anything together after that. Man, I was really bummed out.
Somebody that trains her butt off at the gym, has an incredible coach, Nate Pettit, has an incredible boyfriend with one of the best grapplers in the game right now. And I hate saying disappointed, because who's really disappointed is her. And for why does me or your disappointment even matter at this point? But disappointment is the only word that I can really come around, just because I know how good she is, and unfortunately she just wasn't able to show. I mean, she showed in the first round. She showed why she's 12, why she was either 11 or 12-0 going into this fight, why she deserved the title fight. And it was good seeing new blood in the division too, instead of Rose Namajunas, Andreas, like seeing somebody new get up there for the belt. But there are levels to this game, and even though she was undefeated, after that first round, she looked like an amateur to me.
Do you think she would win if they fought again, or do you think she needs to improve some elements of her game and then have the rematch?
She's behind the curve right now. All right, I think from a straight wrestling standpoint, she might have a slight advantage. And when I say, we'll say out of 10, if Zhang is wrestling is, say, a 7 out of 10, Tatiana's is like a 7.5.
Got it.
And I think that her striking is far behind the curve.
Yeah.
And that's the difference maker. Is Tatiana was starting to get desperate. You could see she's reaching, diving in, not changing her level. Just you could see the frustration building. And I've been there, man. And I tell you what, there's nothing more exhausting than getting your takedown stuffed, especially when you have this idea. Because going into this fight, like, she could take anybody down. She's a high school wrestling state champion. Like, Tatiana's incredible. But after you get stuff, and that's the thing with Merab that I really think separates him from every single fighter at every single division. It's he doesn't get deterred when his shots get taken. He goes, fuck it, I'll shoot 49 times in a fight, and even if I only get 20%, I'm going to win this fight. And you look at Peter Yan, you look at Jose Aldo, he's just nonstop relentless, but you have to have the gas tank. And I saw Tatiana kind of having that presence with her wrestling, but unfortunately just didn't have the gas tank to go with it. And Merab is a perfect example of not being able to mentally get broken. It's Tatiana got to turn into the Merab to beat the go. Yeah, unfortunately, like, Merab is an anomaly. Like, nobody has ever had that kind of output in MMA. It's just, I don't know what this guy does to get in shape, but it's whatever he's doing, I'm doing something wrong, because shit, I'll be shadow boxing and gas out sometimes before fights. Like, this guy's wrestling at a high level against the best wrestlers, in the division, and never gassing out. And I just don't know how he does it.
It is incredible. And hopefully Tatiana does make some improvements in this back. But man, Weili Zhang, holy smokes, to the end. Even in the 5th round, her form, her technique was picture perfect. Her takedown defense, her strikes, it was so incredible to watch. Yeah, she's a phenom. Now they're talking about her going up and fighting. What's her name? oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. Amazing Muay Thai skills. You know what I'm talking about? Valentina Shevchenko. So Dana White hinted that fight may be next, which is crazy. And we will see. Okay, we got to move on to the next topic. Now, looking ahead, I made a video earlier today, Justin, I'm sure you're not surprised, to the fights of the year, of the decade, I would argue. Finally, we are coming close to Khamzat's first ever title shot. I cannot wait. It's Khamzat versus DDP next. Now, the funny thing is, as soon as and I guess this is recency bias, and this is how it goes in MMA, and it's kind of annoying. But after Khamzat destroyed Robert Whittaker and buzzsawed through him, everybody said, oh my God, Khamzat's going to be a problem for Strickland. It's going to be a problem for DDP. Nobody is really going to be able to stand up to Khamzat. Now, fresh off the victory against Strickland, which was a dominant victory, don't get me wrong, but it's a completely different style than Khamzat's. People are now flipping and saying, I don't know, DDP. I think DDP is going to beat Khamzat. MMA Guru has now flipped this pick and saying he's picking DDP over Khamzat. Justin, weigh in. Obviously, Khamzat, with people say, has the best grappling and wrestling in the entire UFC against DDP. Do you have a feeling as to how this is going to go?
I don't have a feeling to how it's going to go, but I will tell you this. I consistently lose money betting against DDP, so I'm done betting against DDP.
No way. You can't be betting on DDP against Khamzat, though. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've said that 100 times.
Khamzat does 100% takedown defense in all of his 8 fights. It's crazy.
I mean, he's going to have to. I mean, you see what DDP. I mean, he's just weird, man. It's unorthodox, and I don't think I've ever put money on DDP to win, and I'm probably over $1,000 down betting against him. So I'm done with that. Until someone beats him, I'm going to bet DDP.
This is what I'm going to say. And by the way, I got to say this too. I said this on my video on Saturday. I am not an expert when it comes to predicting fights and looking at fights and breaking them down. However, I got to give myself a little bit of props because I kind of called DDP versus Strickland. It basically unfolded the way I thought it might, in terms of the varied strikes being the differentiator between who was going to win and who was going to lose. And that's exactly how it played out. So I was almost like surprised that I somewhat got that right. But I'll tell you what I think is going to happen in this fight. I think the main issue, regardless of all the striking and the variance and all these things that DDP has, which are tremendous, I think once again, it's going to be the speed of Khamzat, as well as the way that he can change to such a low level, which I think that is in stark contrast to most other fighters, especially a middleweight. He can get so low and he can shoot from so far out. I don't think he's even in danger of knees. Like, you'd have to soccer kick him in order to stop him. That's what he did to Robert Whittaker. He grabbed his feet. I think he's going to use some sort of a takedown in that way where it's almost not you can't almost really defend it. He's going to come in, it's so aggressive, and then once he gets a hold of DDP, I think it's going to be similar. I think he's going to just get on his back and choke him out. That's what I think is going to happen, but I guess we shall see, and that is the interesting part. Last thing I'm going to say about this matchup, guys, holy smokes, DDP 9-0 in the UFC, Khamzat Chimaev 8-0 in the UFC. But if you think about the UFC, DDP's had losses outside the UFC, but within the UFC, they're both undefeated. This is crazy, awesome, man.
It's going to be a great build-up. I think there's going to be some great trash talk. Like you said, DDP starting to earn. I'm starting to like him on the mic. And again, I never didn't like him, regardless of who I thought. But when you got Sean Strickland as your teammate, it's really hard to go against him. But yeah, after that 4th round, I was ready to turn it off.
DDP is great on the mic. I don't know if we'll see. I think we would have seen a ton of trash talk if it would have been Sean Strickland versus Khamzat. That's the one reason why I did want Sean Strickland to win, because I thought that buildup would have been crazy. But I don't think this fight needs any trash talk. It doesn't need anything. They just honestly need to show up. I hope they book it for July, International Fight Week. But my theory as to why they didn't book this fight right away and have DDP face Khamzat and then Strickland maybe get the winner, I think is because they want to line this fight up to happen in the Middle East. Not because of Khamzat's imaginary visa issues, which I don't even think are real anymore. But I think that they know that Khamzat is such a draw in the Middle East that this will be a blowout event where they'll be able to charge whatever they want for tickets, and it will get everybody involved. Turkey Al Sheikh. I mean, it will just create such a big buzz. So I'm predicting that this fight will happen either in the UAE, but I think Saudi is more likely. And I think it's going to happen relatively soon. I think people are saying October. I think it could be much sooner. I wouldn't be surprised if it's sooner. So we will see. And then No Chill says Khamzat is the UAE's answer to McGregor. Dude, he's going to be bigger than McGregor. If he goes in there and he wins like I think he will be bigger than McGregor. I really do, because I think he's a different brand of star. He's what people want now. It's a new breed. It's a new time. It's a new era. He is who he is. He doesn't have to say not. He just speaks the absolute truth and is unafraid to tell people how it is. And if he thinks he's better than somebody, he'll say it. And it's not trash talk. It's just reality with no filter. I think that's what people are ready for. And you take that on top of his dominance and fun and crazy style, man, it's going to be incredible. I hope he wins. I believe he will win. Let's go. Rise of Khamzat Chimaev. Okay, enough of my whole thing. Last topic of today, we're going to talk about what's next for Strickland. And a lot of people have been saying they think it's going to be Strickland versus Izzy for the rematch. I'm excited about it. I'm going to talk about why in a second, but let me turn it over to you first, because I don't think you feel the same way. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on this fight. And if you don't want to see it, what you would like to see for Strickland next.
I'm fine with this. Both guys coming off losses. Both guys lost to DDP, and I know, although Strickland didn't get finished, like, he was outclassed 50-45, like, in Israel, getting submitted. Like, I think this is a great matchup, and it's one the fans are going to want to see too.
Yes.
And, for Izzy to get a chance to get a win back here against Sean Strickland will be huge for him and his legacy. I like the fight. I like the fight the first time. It's going to be a striking fight. I wonder if Izzy's going to try and work in his takedowns. Sean isn't. Sean's going to talk about, fighting to the death and this and that. He's going to hide behind his jab and teep kick. But again, maybe DDP showed Izzy how to beat him. So this match has a lot of interest to me.
It's a ton of interest. I can't wait for it. Again, look, Strickland is a superstar. Let's just be honest. Izzy is a superstar. They've crossed that threshold. I don't want to see Izzy fight another person like Imavov, somebody else coming up on the rise. I'm way less interested in him giving an up-and-comer a shot. I'm way less interested in Strickland giving an up-and-comer a shot as well. Instead, having these two guys who are both cemented as legends, and they had a great Sean had a great first fight against Izzy. To see them go at it again, I think is so cool. Plus, a lot of people thought, right, that Izzy didn't look like himself in that fight. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but that narrative's out there. So why not give them another shot at this point to go out there? And it can almost put them both back in title contention too. I don't think people would be mad about that. If one of them has a dominant victory, they're right back at the top. That's dope. That's great for the division. It's a win-win for the UFC. They got to do it. When do you think something like this might go down, since Izzy and Sean just had a fight?
Sean's going to have reconstructive surgery on his nose. You're looking at 3 months of recovery. They said it was smashed to bits, but it was easy to reconstruct. So he's going to be out for 2 or 3 months. I'm going to guess 6 months, 8 months, maybe.
Okay, so before the end of the year. But so did he come in? I mean, did you hear about the broken nose through the grapevine? He didn't come in today, right?
No, he didn't come in today. I was at the gym. So everyone was sparring. I wouldn't be surprised if Sean's sparring with headgear on. But no, I saw a video of him yesterday talking about his nose. I saw him like reaching in. He's pinching it in the cage. And then after the fight, he was talking about trying to reset it. But I guess the doctor said it was a good break that will be easy to reset. And he'll probably be out for 2 months. Nose surgery is the worst surgery I've ever had. I've had neck surgery, hand surgery, and nose surgery. And nose surgery is the worst surgery I've ever had.
All right, we're going to end the show. We're going to read some of these comments. We have had some cool comments pop in. So the one who vape says, wow, Justin saying it as it is. Big respect, staying supportive of your training partners, teammates, while still respecting the opposite side. Yeah, tells it how it is. I mean, that's the way we like to do it. I'm sorry, man, Khamzat eats everyone unless DDP gets some funky guillotine. I mean, I kind of agree. I don't even think a guillotine would do anything to him. I think he would be able to. I think he's just too skilled. I don't think anybody's going to out-grapple him. That's not going to happen.
Here's the thing. Like, and Khamzat looked incredible in his last fight. I took Robert Whittaker to win that fight.
Yeah,
but let's not forget he went to decision with Dustin Burns and Gilbert Burns. And Gilbert's an awesome fighter, but I mean, he still went to decision with Gilbert Burns, and maybe he had an off night. He looked gassed out. We can't glaze over Khamzat. I mean, we can and we can't. I know you love him. He's your favorite, and I like him a lot too. But I don't want to get too hyped behind him just yet, because he had an incredible performance against Robert Whittaker. There's no doubt. I never thought Robert was going to lose that fight. But look back at Gilbert Burns. I'm not saying he looked bad. But again, he went to decision with Gilbert Burns after missing weight by like 10 pounds. What Khamzat's going to show up? Is the guy that fought Gilbert Burns going to show up, or the guy that fought Whitaker going to show up? Is he gonna feel better? Going up a weight class, is his cardio is going to be stronger, and that could be the difference maker too of how he fought Robert. So I still have unanswered questions about Khamzat. I think he's awesome. Like I said, I reiterate, I say reiterate because I don't want people to think that I don't like him. I like him, and I think he has a lot of potential. But which Khamzat is going to show up? The guy that fought Gilbert Burns or the guy that fought Robert Whitaker? And that's why we do the dance to find out.
All right. Another thing, we have a question for you from No Chill MMA. Yeah, I have a question for Justin. Do you view the majority of fighters getting signed from DWCS rather than directly from a regional show as a positive or a negative?
Well, DWCS, it's a good platform to put two tough fighters against each other. But what I've noticed a lot, especially in the betting lines, is there's a lot of skewed betting lines of them guys being like -400, -500 favorites. So if you're that big of a favorite, why are you on Dana White Contender Series? That's a regional show. So I don't really understand unless they're just trying to get publicity. I think the Dana White Contender Series has had some incredible fighters come through the grapevines. Obviously, Sean O'Malley, champion. I mean, that's just one I can think of right off the top of my head.
Jamal Hill, I think.
Jamal Hill, former champion. Yeah, I believe you're right. But then again, like when they get to that, so when you're on the regional scene, you want to fight, you want to take favorable matchups. When you're going in the Dana White Contender Series and you're making 5,000 for most guys, that's the first and biggest payday they make. I think it needs to be a tough fight. I don't think there should be any -400, -500 dogs because again, it's giving you the opportunity to show what you class against another high level fighter. And I just hate it when they're starting to, and it's becoming more consistent that they're making uneven matchups to make one guy shine over another.
Got it.
If that
Okay.
makes any sense.
Yep, I think that makes total sense. And last but not least, Western is back. He says, thanks, guys. Thank you for joining. All right, guys, that's it for our Monday show. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, I dropped that Khamzat video. If you do get a chance to watch it, check it out. Let me know your thoughts. And also let us know what other content you want to see from us. If there's any topics, feel free to leave it in the comments. And we'll take a look. We are just on the grind trying to make videos after videos after videos because we're just having more and more fun with it. So it's awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we will see you in the next episode. Take it easy.